Hi, I'm Yasha.
And I'm Brendan.
And I'm Marcus. Join us as we take a view from the salon chair.
It's time for the cut.
Well, hi everyone, and
Hey, what's going on,
guys?
man?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to talk about it's a big thing at the moment as well, especially in our industry, and it's about hair growth oils and medications and things. There's been a lot of sort of things in the press about fake hair oils.
Like snake oil stuff.
Yeah,
like,
snake oil stuff that's actually making people lose their hair. Quite the reverse of what it's promising.
It might be the case they might be losing hair, but they're not like patient with the process. So like, for example, like we've got a list of different stuff here. I use some of them. I use minoxidil. I've messed around with finasteride, but I think a lot of people are not patient with it.
Yeah.
So minoxidil, do you know anything about it?
A little bit because of what it's in products that I've used in the past year.
So minoxidil, basically, what it does is, from my understanding, it basically reawakens or sends blood flow to the hair follicles that have sort of closed up. So basically, what happens is when you lose your hair, or when you're losing your hair is due to high testosterone, basically, you go through a natural shedding process, as like all you guys know.
Yeah.
So, and as that happens when you get older, or it's genetic, and you have high testosterone, you get. See if you can see my fingers. This is your regular. This is your regular hair follicle, say when you're born or whatever, or no, because you lose your baby hair. But when, say you're about, 15, 16, 17, 18, around that age, your hair follicle is about that. But if you got the genetics to lose your hair and gain lots of testosterone, basically is as you shed your hair, your follicle gets smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where it closes up. And so that's when you have the areas affected often by hair loss. What minoxidil does basically, it sends blood flow to those areas to kind of reawaken those areas that were affected by the loss of the hair in that area. Now you can use things like a derma roller, which is, do you guys know what that is?
I've seen that, yeah.
It's kind of like a roller with a bunch of little tiny needles on it, and you rub it over affected areas to kind of like aggravate those areas to, again, like create blood flow to those areas.
Because this is work for the skin as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen it.
You could do it on your beard as well to kind of like,
But wait, isn't this making people lose their hair though?
So that's what I'm getting to.
That's the problem where I was going to say. So these are fake ones. You've just mentioned some really
right.
good ones. The fake ones.
So
Exactly
people
what
are
you said.
selling fake ones, not the...
People are selling like, snake oil. I'm sure you've heard the term.
snake oil salesmen.
Yeah. And so snake oil salesmen would basically be selling you water and saying that it's, a miracle cure. But it's not really, you know what I mean? So these, and this is a problem because you've got ones that are obviously on the market. They're really good, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And ones that are causing real damage.
Yeah. I think the thing, though, that I guess I was going to piggyback off of the idea that people get afraid of whether or not it actually works or not. What a lot of these products will do is you'll go through an aggravated kind of shedding. So you'll lose a lot more hair before you gain the new hair, because basically it makes it's like a 6 to year long process. Basically, you got to stick with it, and you have to either use it. It depends on how much you want to use it and how fast you want the product to potentially work. If you use it a lot, you're going to notice your hair falling out quicker. Like when you start, like for instance, like minoxidil, you'll go through a shedding process basically, and your hair will fall out, and then it'll regrow all those baby hairs again. And then finasteride too. Basically, what finasteride does is it blocks the genetic, it blocks like testosterone or whatever to like basically stop you from losing the hair. That's what finasteride does. The only thing is, I would say about finasteride, if anybody's going to take it, I'd often, if somebody wants to take it topically, because you take it orally, especially as a man, it actually affects your manhood. Funny enough.
Wow, see, so that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Wow, that's serious.
You'd
probably be bald, wouldn't you? Let's face it.
I'll be straight, but the oral finasteride, I took it when I first started noticing I was losing my hair when I was 18.
Yeah.
And I noticed, and I'm going to be open about it, but I noticed that it was affecting my ability to be, what men do. And I was like, this is like, because what the doctor said, look, there's a bunch of these. No, it's fine. I mean, I don't give a shit. It was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago now. But no, the one thing that I will say, and it also can affect, it has side effects. Like, they recommend not to take it either oral or topical if you're in the process of trying to have children.
Let's say topical, because you're saying that topical. I mean, I know what that means. You know what that means, but
topical isn't like
just
spray,
applying it onto the
spray
skin.
or an oral,
like mousses and that kind of
like
thing.
you can take have you guys have Propecia in this country?
No.
Yeah,
no, I've
Propecia
not.
is
Have
like
you-
basically
have you
oral. It's the oral supplement version of finasteride, basically.
Right.
And that's what it's called where I'm from. I don't know what they call it here, but often I know we have some in the shop. Like we have some.
So
We don't give it to clients. We just use it as an example. Like, here, this is what it looks like. I think there might have been somebody that was taking it at some point.
So would this be a thing you'd need to get from the doctor, or you could go out
I'm
and
not
order
sure
it?
about in regards to this country. I would assume so. That's probably prescribed because it is. You would take it if it's doctor recommended. I mean, I would never. I would always, like, when I have a client in the chair and they're worried about hair loss, I always go, hey, here are the things that I've gone through and I've used. I can tell you they work for me, but they might not work for you. Also, if you have things like psoriasis, sensitive skin, things like that, I would highly recommend just like maybe having a conversation with your doctor before you start using it yourself, because you might be allergic to some of it and you don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
as well.
I was going to suggest, especially for my clients, because I've not heard a lot of these products, these like ingredients. I usually recommend like natural, like Jamaican black castor oil, peppermint oil, and rosemary oil, and that works really, really well for like any hair type.
Wow.
When it comes to hair loss.
See, I might disagree with you here because I don't know anything about that, but in my mind, we're probably disagreeing because that sounds like snake oil to me because of the fact, but I don't have firsthand experience.
The
with
only
it.
thing I'd say about it, why I would say that's not snake oil,
Right.
and the fact that that's not causing any damage.
Yeah,
where-
It's
yeah,
natural.
that's
It's
true.
natural
damaged.
products
Right,
in
right,
the
right.
sense that, say with peppermint oil, like it tickle, like as soon as you put it on your scalp, you'll feel that tingling
yeah.
sensation.
Right.
So I'm like, it opens up the hair follicles. Rosemary oil, and you can get them from Tesco, and you can like actually naturally make it and then mix it. And I don't know how, but especially with Jamaican black castor oil, with every single client that I've had in their hair shedding, they've come back after 3 months and it grows back.
Yeah.
It's thicker, it's healthier, and it's longer. And I feel like when you use natural products, you're basically like just recycling what's coming from the earth and putting it back into your body.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you can actually go wrong if you're using natural products, because these, we don't fully know what's inside them. So that's why maybe some people react to them. But I think with all of the products that I've mentioned, I've not had many clients react unless you're using rosemary oil, because it is really, really strong.
Yeah.
So then you dilute it with the peppermint and with the Jamaican black castor oil. But that, for any hair, I always recommend it.
So,
Do you think that that's
the
more-
last one here? Sorry,
Yeah, it's all right.
the last
Dutasteroid.
one, dutasteroid. I'd not experienced it at all, and apparently that's the new kid on the block. That's amazing. You don't get any side effects from it, and it works absolutely amazing.
I don't
So I've
have-
read, but
I don't
I've
have-
never used it. So on anybody else or prescribed it or anything.
I don't personally have any experience with that stuff, but I do know companies that will sell the culmination of, as a topical spray, the mixture of finasteride, minoxidil, and dutasteride, and they'll sell it all in kind of one bottle, in a topical bottle. And I think the only thing that I would say about like these things is you got to do them. Otherwise, if you start them, you can't stop them.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
the only
keep doing it.
problem, which sucks because then you rely on people's fear of the potential of losing their hair if they don't stop doing
The only
it.
thing I'd say to that is, like, if you're that concerned, I mean, hair transplants are amazing now, and also, I'm going to say wigs, for girls and guys, right, are amazing. I mean, the actual effect that you get out of them. I think that whole stigma thing, for me personally, I think that's disappeared as well.
I think a lot more people are willing to embrace now
Yeah.
having a wig, whereas before it was like, oh my God, you're wearing a wig.
Yeah.
You've got a wig. But I think now it's more fashionable. But I would also say again, when it comes to wigs, that can lead to insecurities as well, because I've seen clients now that like they hate their natural hair because they're so used to wearing wigs.
Yeah.
So it's like a cover up instead of like actually acknowledging that, okay, if you've got hair loss, you can do hair loss transplant.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a big advocate for natural products because you can try it and it works, and then you're not depending on something outside of yourself. So like these natural products will like stimulate your body to do what it needs to do, and then when you stop taking it, your hair will still grow. But it's just for Afro hair. Like that's the
Yeah.
one thing
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
like experienced in.
While we're on about Afro hair, some real big news at the moment. Obviously, Mel V, and then going to Parliament and everything. So, I mean, I'm going to let you talk about this because it's something you're passionate about anyway. I mean, it's fantastic, but, tell us more.
Yeah, so it's something that I just read about recently, actually. Mel B has decided to take it to Parliament to see if they can change the laws surrounding Afro hair discrimination. And they want to basically make it the first Western world country that will actually have a law that protects people from being discriminated against because of their hair, which I believe is something that has been a long time coming, because nobody should be discriminated against just because their hair is a certain texture or certain look. So yeah.
Wow, here.
Can I
that's
ask, what is that, just because I'm a white boy, what does that discrimination for someone who is of color, what does that look like?
It's like, say, I've seen so many people go through it where, say you go for a job interview and they'll look at your hair. There'll be this stigma where, say, when people had dreads, they'll be like, oh, this person, they look a little bit rough, or their hair's unkept, or their hair's unclean. There was even reports, I think years ago, Zendaya, the actress, she went on the red carpet and she had dreads. And there was an article that was written about her that, oh my goodness, she smelled of weed, she looked like this. And it was literally just because of
just
her hair.
association.
Yeah, so there's like so many jobs that I've had people go to and like they've been turned down because they're like, oh, that hair is not professional. Even last week when we were speaking about in schools how there's kids that get kicked out of school because of their hair type. So as a black person, the standard is your hair has to be like tied up. It has to be neat. You can't have like certain colors. You can't have certain braids, which I just think is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was something that I really took away from our last conversation on the last episode. Was I actually went home and felt like, oh man, I wish that is a really cool, interesting topic that we had talked about, because this sort of idea where we as kids, when we're kids, we're trying to find an essence of our own individuality, our own character, and if people of color can't experience that because of the fact that they are born with different ways of how their hair grows, how are you supposed to look like every other Tom, Dick, and Harry that goes to school? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't expect that my hair is going to grow the same way as an Asian guy or as a black guy, because I know that I've cut those hairs before and I know they're completely different. I think the average Joe doesn't know that too. I think when I got into barbering, I remember speaking to another barber and he was like, oh, I got introduced to the shop, and I said, he said, oh, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm just looking at potentially getting an apprenticeship. I really want to learn how to cut hair. And he just went, why the fuck would you want to do that? And I was like, I don't know. It's something interests me. I've always been interested in it ever since I was a kid. And I think it's a cool career path. And he just went, there's so many different hairstyles. And I didn't know what that meant.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Not even hairstyles, but hair types. Hair types.
Yeah.
So many different hair types. And I did not realize that until I finally started cutting hair, how different everyone's hair is. And the funniest thing is we at this table all know that. But the average Joe just thinks they don't know.
But then that's the problem that I think, going back to this, why I think it's important that it's even a law. Because even in salons, I've had so many clients that they've gone to a salon and they're like, I can't work with your hair. I'm like, as a hairdresser, this is what we specialize in, that when someone comes and sits in your chair, they trust you to make them look good. So I've had so many clients where the hairdresser's been like, I'm going to charge you more because your hair's too unmanageable. There's clients that have been charged like extra because it's like, it's going to take me longer. I'm going to have to use more products. I've never worked with your hair type. So there's clients that when they would sit down, the first thing they would do is apologize. Like, I'm so sorry about the way my hair is. And I was like, what's wrong with your hair? Yeah, and I'm like, why would you apologize? Like, your hair is beautiful. And I've had clients she sit down and start crying because I would look at it and I'm like, your hair is gorgeous. Like, you're the first hairdresser that said that to me.
That's wonderful you said that, because, I mean, for me personally, I love the fact that all hair is different. I celebrate the fact that there's different texture. And I don't actually, me personally, I don't think it's anything to do with your heritage at all. I just look at it as hair. I really, honestly, truly do. Yeah. And it's like because, I don't know if you saw my socials, and I put the afro that I did quite recently. I did an afro.
No, I didn't see that.
And, it was a bit of a nod at the 70s.
Are you talking about the movement?
The movement, yeah.
Oh, Black Panthers?
Panthers, yeah. It was a whole nod at that with the afro comb in the back. yeah. But it was that, and I put it on, but that guy is a white dude.
Yeah.
and he's got afro hair.
Yeah.
And it's, I'll show you, Nash. You know what I mean? It's like as afro as afro can be.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about hair.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate at all.
Exactly.
You know,
It's
and that's
versatile.
exactly why that Mel B thing is so important.
Yeah.
It's discrimination against the colour of skin. So obviously moving on to autumn now and autumn trends as well. And it's really good, this country, especially, I don't know about you guys, but this country, we tend to have that, you know, seasonal trends. So, you know, for me, hair's like the last thing. Your clothes and everything go on first, then the hair's on the top, so it's the crown, it's the top of the crown as well. But, you know, nevertheless, you know, your browns and your thorns and your creams and, you know what I mean? They all come about at the right time as well. So your highlights and colours and everything tend to sort of be more muted, more toned, and browns come in there as you're doing weaves, that must happen
Yeah, I think
as well.
a lot of girls now are more like not light brown hair, but maybe like my hair color, but maybe a little bit darker, a little bit deeper. Like, yeah, more like darker, cooler tones.
Because we kind of see that kind of happening with the weather even as well, you know. But there's a big thing that I'm sort of looking at, the precision cutting is sort of coming around as well. So I really
Explain
see
to
that.
this. What does that
So,
mean?
so if you think about like old school sort of the way that you'd see hair, like
Is
sassoon.
it like the blunt cut?
Sassoon, yeah, real blunt. And bobs of late, have been very square, very boxy. But now what you're seeing, you're actually seeing asymmetrics coming back and
Yeah, I
things,
see
and
that.
very, very, very sharp detail to it. Like things that I would have learned back in the sort of 90s. And I really see that coming about. And again, with colours, I really see this thing where you've got like colours that are not, you know, when we sort of talked about before, you know, highlighting techniques as well. We're talking about like now the colours are more in line with themselves, so the chunk and chunk. You know, it's still different colours, but you're using the sort of like, you know, you're lining it right out. You know, and I think that's a really cool technique. Guys especially as well, you know, and I sort of do see that. So you're getting like, you're adding a specific area of the hair where it's coloured, you know, and then you can precision cut that area as well. And I really like that as well, you know. It really,
I
really
find,
helps.
I mean, I don't obviously deal with a lot of like mine that
Colour.
Yeah, colour.
You can't say dye. Dye clothes.
Yeah.
You colour hair.
Colour
Right,
hair.
okay.
Yeah, you know.
Even I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Should
that's
learn
what I used to get
something new.
told.
I'm just gonna leave now.
No, don't you worry. Don't you worry, you know.
I think I don't know. For me, I always find it because not a lot of guys come in and they get their hair colored.
Yeah.
You know, you get the occasional client that'll come in, and I always find it really, really hard to fade. Like I've had guys come in where they're split right down the middle. There's a black hair on one side, blonde on the other, blonde and red, and like split. And I find it really hard to fade because it's hard to make it symmetrical with the fact that they've already faded the top. So I don't see as much in my shop. But, but yeah, what about you? Have you been noticing a lot more trends for the autumn or seeing
I think
things?
with girls wise, they've been getting like more colored wigs. So not just black, but yeah, like ombre brown, maybe deep reds. Guys, not as much with guys, but usually they just like color the top of their hair, like just get it dyed.
Yeah.
You can dye the hair right. You can bleach the top of the head. I think he's gonna
Bleach
tell me.
or colour.
Yeah, they
I was
color the
gonna-
top.
I was so going to trip you up there. Yeah.
But yeah, the bleach the top of their hair. But that's why I haven't seen too many like.
You know, when you bleach the top of somebody's hair, would you then go through and put what we call a toner? So to tone the bleach
Yes.
through. Yeah.
So it depends what kind of look they're going for. There's some guys that just want that orangey tone,
Yeah,
but
they-
then there's
they
other
want
ones that like more light, cool, ashy type of tone.
Yeah.
Then would put toner on
If
top.
I came into your shop tomorrow and I was like, oh, what would you give me for an autumn style for my? I'm wearing a hat right now. I'll take it off.
You'd suit like a light orange hair. Like
I
maybe-
thought about getting a mohawk recently. I was sitting in this weekend. I was like, I might do a mohawk.
I think you'd suit a mohawk. You know,
Yeah,
he
I love
would.
mohawks.
I would love a mohawk. I was thinking recently. I was like,
Wait,
would
is
you
that
get
not what you
taxi
had?
driver mohawks? You know that? Do you
ooh,
know?
like harsh.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought about it the other day. I was like, do you know what? I have a client, and he's a really cool guy. He recently just got rid of his mohawk on the weekend. He's really, really cool. I loved cutting his mohawk because you can just like texturize it in a way that like I know the people listening, other barbers, you know, hairstylists listening, they probably are gonna laugh when they see it. But I was always scared of the feather razor, and more recently, I've been using that feather razor like it is like candy coming off the shelf. Like I'm a little kid in a candy
You know
shop.
what? I use that all the time.
I
And I
love
love cutting with the feathers.
It's
a
staggered-
good blending.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, it is basically like, if you took like your four fingers and then you put a blade in between those four fingers, the blade sits just underneath the four bits of the teeth, and then you basically like I always call it like shattering the ends or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And you can like pull it, and you don't. It's great for mullets. I use it for mullets all the time, especially more recently because I want to kind of see what it looks like because because you can have a mullet just look so flat on the back of somebody's head.
I
It's
swear
just
to
like
God,
there's no texture.
you absolutely love mullets.
I-
don't
You
you?
can even hear the excitement.
I
in
love-
his voice.
I get mullets. I get mullets like 4 or 5. I get mullets like every day. I love doing mullets. I had like 10 mullets last week.
face is just
And
light up.
I like every single time I do one, I'm like, how can I do this differently than the last one and try and perfect the technique? Like I'm trying this new thing now where I'm like sectioning off certain parts. I know that there's going to be people thinking like, oh, there's one way to do it or not. And it's like, no, because it's such a subjective haircut. There's no right way to do it.
I mean, Brendan, you are really sort of like a hairdresser there than a barber. You really are because I feel that is a difference between hairdressers and barbers. We tend to put our own spin on something, and you're doing that as a barber. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, and I think the reason why I have that perspective though is in part because of the people that trained me, like Kieran and my boss Kieran, and my other coworker Ben. They all talk about sort of this idea of subjective ways of going about things. We always say, what do they say in the shop? Like, your job is to troubleshoot every haircut because every haircut's different, right? And so you can approach it differently. And I have like Ben in the shop, he'll often use like different tools on different haircuts because he just is bored and he wants to try something
But
new.
I also think you're making it bespoke for the client, surely. And that's what you do as well, right, Nash?
Yeah.
Going back to the Mohawk thing.
Yeah.
I have, no, seriously, I'm not going to, well, I am going to tell a
Do you know
funny
what?
story.
When I get the Mohawk, I'll come see you and we'll color it. We'll color it, not dye it.
My dog is called Sid after Sid Vicious
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Sex Pistols,
Yeah.
and he has a mohawk.
Damn.
It's
Can
serious.
we'll put that picture in.
That's in the
link down.
socials. Yeah, we'll put it in. But I coloured it today for him.
Did you?
And it's bright green.
Wait, the dog.
The dog, yeah, man.
The dog is bright green.
My dog has got a bright green mohawk.
Oh no,
You
I
know?
want to see that now.
He had a bright
Can they
purple
sit?
mohawk
Can they sit
before.
for it?
Yeah, he just sits. He sits in a chair and gets his hair done.
And then you watch. Wait, that doesn't damage the hair.
Well,
What kind of dog?
a labradoodle.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got so
that's
many
fine.
questions after this.
Well,
No,
Labradoodles are kind of like it's a cross between a poodle and a Labrador, right? And so,
oh no, I want to see
So-
the picture.
Yeah,
of
you
that.
can see pictures. I'll show
we'll show you
He's
after.
on my socials. Yeah.
I think to go back what you're saying I speak like someone who works in a hair salon or something. I think that's in part because the people that train me though,
Yeah.
like they follow people that are trying, like we've spoken about on the show before. I think maybe in episode 1 or 2, we talk about this world of sort of meshing the salon world and the barbering world together as one, so that you can have that option to go see a barber and they can offer similar but not exactly the same.
You know what it is, right? It's because, I mean, we're talking right now about afro hair and textured hair, and we're talking about men's hair, and we're talking about ladies' hair, but men's hair as well, right? It's all hair, and we all want to merge. There should be, I mean, this is ridiculous that there isn't. I mean, I know your shop does this, where you have white guys working in there as well. But that's what I was going to say there. You'd have like a black salon with black guys only working there because they only work on black hair and they've got black hair themselves. And men will only work in the barbershop. Sometimes you get girls in there, and I don't want to sound like I'm being like this, but that's now. I think that we're sort of pushing all them barriers down.
Yeah.
The black girl who works in the salon will do white hair as well as black hair, and the girl and the white guy will do black hair as well as do, you know what I mean? And
I
the
think
same
I've
guy,
never been given the opportunity to do it before, so I think
I
it's
think we
one of
have to
them.
get people comfortable, because I think even there's guys who are like, I'll cut your hair. They're like, no.
Yeah.
And they're so like, no, because they've never seen it. It's not been the norm until I think recently it's now becoming the norm.
I noticed that Rihanna, she had a yeah. I mean, she's gorgeous.
She's a billionaire.
She really
Yeah,
is
she's
amazing.
incredible.
Isn't she? She really is, and she's launched obviously a new range and everything. So, do you want to talk about it, Nash, a little bit?
So I haven't tried the products, but I really, really want to. I've seen a lot of reviews on TikTok. I think there's a shop was it in London that she opened it?
I think it was in London. It was. wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
think a girl on TikTok posted it. I think it was like £20 or £29 around then. Everyone was like, it was so cheap. the products that she's used, obviously, like any product that she launches, everyone's like, she uses like the right kind of ingredients. So yeah, I've just heard a lot of good stuff about
Yeah.
it.
And you can't wait to try it. I mean,
Yeah, I
I've
can't
never
wait to
tried
try
it,
it.
obviously, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe after this I'll order some products and try it out.
Is it hard to get a hold of, or is it just?
I think because I haven't tried,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But obviously, because it's Rihanna, it's probably sold out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Anyways, because that was the same with Fenty when she launched Fenty, it was sold out quick.
So this is, again, part of, I believe this is part of the Fendi.
Yeah, the
brand.
Fenty
Yeah,
makeup, but
yeah.
now the hair care. I think especially for a lot of black girls, there's been markets where there are products for black hair, but I think also with it being Rihanna, a black woman, I think it's kind of, I don't want to say it's changing the status quo, but yeah, everyone's now like,
Well, no, I think
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
I agree. I think it is a little bit. You know what I mean? It's pushing out there as well, and they're bridging that gap and everything as well. But it's right out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Do you know what I mean about this? It's like usually you would get black products would be in a black shop. I know that.
yeah, but
you
now
know?
it's like it's accessible to everyone, but it's a figure that everyone knows. So it's not just like because there's products like Shea Moisture. I don't know if you guys have heard
Yeah,
of
I
them,
have,
Yeah.
but like and Cantu and stuff like that. But there's some people that know, and there's not a lot, but everyone knows Rihanna. So I'm like, for someone that big to now be like, okay, I'm catering to this market, it's huge.
You know, you guys passion as well,
Mm-hmm.
music. So what's everybody listening to?
I'm
To
still
this-
listening to
this
the
time.
same songs
I-
as
yeah.
last week and the week before.
Yeah.
Nothing new for me.
Oh, come on! I've been listening. You
Go on, then.
always.
You tell us, because
No.
I feel like you're itching
He's
at the bit.
got cool music.
No,
clip
no,
anyways.
no. I've been listening to some old stuff as well. So a lot of Kendrick Lamar as well.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I'm like, I think it's amazing
Yeah.
performance, and like I'm just listening to.
He's opening up for the Super Bowl this year.
Is he?
Yeah.
They're not like us. Is that?
Yeah, not
like
like
us,
that
yeah.
song. I've just listened to. I don't usually do that with a song. I've just been listening to, and I had it on in the salon. One of my clients went, "What is this?" And I went, "It's Kendrick Lamar," and she went, "Yeah, but what is it?"
It's
And I
called
was like, I
rap.
didn't get it. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Why don't you get this? And that's what I love about music as
Yeah.
well, because it's like
Different
you
for
get
everyone,
it or
yeah.
you don't get it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't been listening to anything, but everybody noticed a video that I posted on the weekend or last week. As of late, as I said last episode, you guys were talking about, oh, what are you looking forward to? What's making the cut? And I was like, well, I'm buying like film equipment and stuff like that to start like when I've got free time, just kind of like push my socials further, because we've got freshers out now. All the students are coming back, and I guess I'm not like a part of that age group anymore, but like I want to seem trendy. Do you know what I mean? I want to be hip. I want to be cool. And I talked about my dance moves.
Right now, Brendan's dancing as we're talking.
I said it on our last episode. I love to dance. It's one of my favorite things to do. And when I hear a cool new track that I want to move to, I'm at the gym sometimes, and I'll be like in between sets, and I'm like I'm coming up with like dance
Exactly.
moves in my head, and I'm like, this would look really cool if I moved my hips like this, and then I'll do these things with my hands, and like I'm just looking around to make sure nobody's seeing me do all this crazy shit.
Do you know what people will have actually seen him? They were just pushing a set out and then looking at him dancing.
But, I heard, so there was that new track that came out. So we recorded our episode last episode last Tuesday. And then I recorded that video of me dancing on the Wednesday morning, because I had a client that couldn't make it in the morning. And I was just like, well, I've got a full free hour now. And I'm really kind of sad that my client couldn't come. So I'm going to film a video. And I was like, I don't want to dance this morning. I've been listening to like this new track by Let's Go Back by Jungle. And I mentioned it on the last episode. And then I was like, I just kept listening to it. And I was like, and I saw the whole choreographed video of it. And I was like, I want to do that. And I was like, I'm going to try and dance to it a little bit. And I kid you not, I filmed that 3 times, which is impressive for me because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So I like came up with the moves, and then I was like, it was on the fly. And the first cut that I posted was the first one I did. But then I was thinking in my head, I was like, right, we were listening to Elton John in the shop, and I was like, let's see what this looks like if I put, I'm Still Standing underneath it, see if it plays the same way. And it did. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, ooh, but I still want people to see me doing the dance to the actual song I recorded it to. And it looks so fucking cool. And I love it. And I had a client like text me and he goes, oh, I bet you're great at weddings. And I was like, I'm a fucking nightmare at weddings. Like, I destroy people. Like, I love, like, my go-to songs at like a wedding is usually like Uptown Funk. I love
Great
that song. Yeah,
Brilliant
Bruno Mars. Yeah, it makes you want to dance.
Yeah,
like
it
every
does.
time you hit it, like I've got like a whole like a shimmy move. Like, oh man, my friend back home, if he's listening, Corey McEwen, he's one of my best friends. If he's ever listened to this episode, I hope he does, because we used to do a podcast together. But that was our song. If that song came on at any club, anytime, we'd be across the room, we'd looking for each other across the room, and we just like come together and just do it. And everyone's like,
have you seen
going
Bruno?
on?
Have you seen him live?
I've never seen him live.
No,
have you?
No, I'd love to.
I'd love to see him
Yeah,
live.
I'd love
I
to.
think he's like, we were talking about this the other day in the shop. We were talking about like who is like the new MJ in the
no,
new.
I definitely think
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I think
definitely think that.
he's like a mod.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say Chris Brown. I'm so sorry.
Do you know what? That's what Kieran said in
It'd
our
be
shop,
Chris
and then
Brown.
Do you
and then
think so?
somebody
Yeah,
else
do you
said.
think so?
I saw him live for about a month. I was depressed because it was that good for literally
Oh,
a month.
seriously, yeah?
Yeah, I just kept watching the videos, and I posted one video on TikTok that even blew up, and I was like, I've got Chris Brown blues. Every girl underneath it was like, I don't know what's happening. Even the guys, because
Yeah.
he's so like his music. He's probably the next.
Well, we
MJ.
said the
you think
weekend.
so?
We
Yeah?
said
Yeah,
the
yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
The weekend. Bruno Mars and Chris Brown. Well, so I'm conflicted with Chris Brown.
Brown.
I'm conflicted with him because so far as I know, because I'm out of the loop. We talked about Rihanna earlier. I thought he was a bad guy.
No, we've moved on from that because
Why have we-
we moved on because this is the one thing this is the hill I'll die on. He's a person that made mistakes.
Right.
He paid for those mistakes, went to prison. He's not perfect. But I think people like to put the personal, Chris Brown did this, and then mix it in with the music. As a performer, even when I saw him, that I was like, for someone to perform for an hour, he's dancing, he's doing backflips, he's doing all this, and the crowd is engaged. I'm like, that's incredible.
Right.
There's a lot of artists that I've seen that people have gone to live and they're like, oh yeah, this was incredible. But Chris Brown's ability to just perform, it's out of this world.
Yeah, but going back to kind of like what we were saying earlier in regards to like you can be a great barber but have a shit attitude, but then people don't want to go back to them, right? It's the same thing, like in some regard. Like how, like to what extent are we willing to forgive, sort of, to piggyback off of this whole thing? Because I'm out of the loop, and I've had conversations with people in the shop about this particular individual. Because I'm like, I don't like people that beat up other people. You know what I mean?
Of course, but I'm like, I think with Chris
Like,
Brown.
I saw the pictures of Rihanna and what he did to Rihanna.
But okay,
And
we
also-
went there. We don't, because there was stuff that she fought back, and that's why I'm like, he served his time. That man served his time. And I'm
so
like,
you're okay. So in my mind,
I'm not okay with what
you're
he
not
did,
okay.
but I love Chris Brown. That's why I said it's a
So you're willing
hill
to
I'm willing
look-
to die on.
Right, you're willing
I didn't
to
look
look past
past
it.
it because
Okay.
I'm like, if I saw him, I'd be like, hi, because I want to do Chris Brown's hair. So if he's listening, I'm a Chris Brown fan. And I want to do his
Yeah.
hair. But I'm saying in terms of like music, if you listen to some of his songs,
No, amazing.
Oh no, I
There's-
know his songs. Yeah.
have you heard Residuals?
Yes, I
There's
have,
a song
yeah.
that he's there. And I think the songs that I've listened to that I'm like, I'm not even going through heartbreak, but I'll listen to the song. I'm like, I miss my man.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a man.
So as someone who is not like on the fence about him because of what I know about him, because he doesn't just have the Rihanna allegation. There's multiple allegations
That's why
about.
I'm like, that man might be a bad man.
Yeah,
but when
yeah.
it comes to music and performing, if you listen to his music, because when he first did the Rihanna thing,
Right.
for like a year, I was like, nah, Chris Brown, I can't listen
Yeah,
to him.
yeah.
But then I'd go back and listen to his songs. I'm like,
Because I remember when Chris Brown wasn't cool because of what he did. Like I was a kid because I remember listening to his music. Right? What was the 1, 2, 3, 4? Whatever
Oh,
that
yeah,
song
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
don't know that song. But anyways, I remember when that came out. I remember I was finishing high school. That song was in the club all the time.
It was
And
on at the gym, that song, all the time.
yeah, it was
And I
on the
still
gym all
loved
the
it.
time. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great song. It was a fist pump song. I loved it when it came on. But then I found out about that, and then all of a sudden, like now, Chris Brown's like cool again, and that's the part that confuses the hell out of me.
But I think he's cool again because of his music.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, if you see how many records that this man has sold, how many tours that he does. I think when he done in London, he sold out, I think, the O2 Arena for like his full concert.
It's funny that you were saying about sort of like somebody, when he went to see him, you were just like, wow.
I was
you know?
depressed, like borderline depressed. I thought I might need to see a doctor because I was like, what effect
You know
does this
Prince.
man
You've
have?
heard of Prince, yeah?
Oh yeah, my mom used
Like,
to. My mom
Prince
used to.
just absolutely just wow, what a performer.
Have you?
Like, what a performer.
Did you go
yeah,
see him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just he moved and danced absolutely amazingly all the way through, sang all the way through. There's no sort of dubbing on there or everything. He just,
My mom used to hang out at the same
you know?
clubs as he did.
yeah.
Yeah, because my mom's from grew up in Minnesota and like grew up in like Illinois kind of area. And but she used to go to the clubs when he was there and stuff like that. And she used to go to his shows all the time. So I knew exactly who Prince was from like a very young age.
Yeah.
And I was the one that had to tell my mom when he passed away. And my mom was so upset. And it was like
You
it was
told
bigger.
her that he
Well, I
passed-
had to tell her because I was like, I don't want her to find out. I needed. It was like breaking the news about like a grandparent dying for her. 'Cause it was a big deal when Prince died.
Oh, no,
and then
it's
I
bad,
got the
that, isn't it?
opportunity to see Prince's band play and stuff like that. So that was really cool in my hometown because they came and played like a whole show. And I'll be honest with you, I did not realize how many Prince songs I knew until I saw that concert. I was like, oh my God, I didn't
Prince
realize.
is amazing.
Oh, he's
He is.
amazing. Yeah. We've all been there. We've all had clients that maybe we don't necessarily agree with either how they're asking us how to do something or whatnot, or they're just troublesome in various different ways. Nash, do you have any?
I feel like this is my moment to tell my story.
You don't have to be
because
specific. Too.
I'm not going to be specific, but I think because a lot of people
You can talk
may have-
generally.
Generally,
Yeah.
Okay.
You can talk anything you like.
Or you could do whatever
it.
you want.
You can do it. Please, just tell us the story.
The
Yeah.
one experience that I actually had that did actually no, there's two. So there was one nice lady. She was actually a very, very nice lady. She came in and she bought a wig, and she couldn't, like, the wig wouldn't fit on her head because it was too small. So the manufacturer that had made the wig had given her a really, really tiny cap. So we were trying to fit it on her head, and she was like, I'm going on holiday. So I was like, I'll do the best that I can to make sure that it works. But it was physically impossible to make this wig fit on her head because it was tiny. And trying to pull it on, you could see when you put it on, the lace goes to the side. You pull it to the side, it comes back to the side.
Oh, wow.
So you could see it in the mirror that it doesn't fit. So some of the girls came over, they were like, oh, we'll offer you like another wig. We'll do this, we'll do that. She was like, no, can you cut it? So usually when someone brings in a wig, I have to like bleach the knots, cut it, and then put it on the head. But because I could see that it was small, I had not touched
Explain
it.
bleach knots. Can't
So you
explain,
just
explain.
so to make it look realistic, if you see a wig, you'll see like the little dots where they've crocheted the hair in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you bleach it, it makes it like skin basically.
Right.
So then you don't see the little
You
black
don't
dots.
see
It blends it.
inside, so it all blends to the scalp.
So
Yeah.
this particular day, I decided to not bleach it. I was like, I'm not going to touch it. And I showed her the wig. Then I put it on her head and she was like, you can cut it. So I was like, are you sure? Because it's still not going to fit. But anyways, I cut the wig just a little bit to try and make it fit. And she was like, oh, okay, you're right. It doesn't fit. She was, this went back and forth for about an hour. So the girls were offering her wig. She was like, no, I don't want it. She was like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. So she's like, thank you so much for your help. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. 10 minutes after walking, ping, my phone's like blowing up. I then went on Google. This woman wrote me an essay. She left me 1 star. She was like, if there's a star less than 0, she's like, me and the girls in the salon were so horrible to her. We charged her extra. We tampered with her wig. And I was like, my dear, we've got CCTV that showed the whole interaction. And this was a grown woman. I think that was the first time it had happened. That I was like, I tried to help this client and she left me a 1-star review. I was like, okay, that's fine. No problem.
Never doing that. Yeah.
No, but me, I've got a kind heart. So I was like, let me do it again. There was another woman that came in. Her hair was like breaking at the sides because she'd had braids. And my policy is if your hair's breaking, I don't want to braid it in case it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because you can develop traction alopecia. And
You,
there's some
you talked
hairdressers.
about that before.
Yeah, there's
where
some
it
hairdressers.
pulls the hair out. Yeah.
And they'll do the hair and they'll charge you. So I told her, I was like, oh, unfortunately, I can't do this, but I can offer an alternative hairstyle. And I'll do one that obviously is more gentle on your hair, whatever. She was like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. And I don't know what, they'll be so nice. They're so nice. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's being nice to me. So I did the alternative style and I didn't charge her. I just charged her, I think it was like an extra £5. I was like, I'm not going to charge you the full balance because obviously it's not your fault that your hair is breaking, but I'll just charge you. And then she was complaining about that. So I was like, okay, it's fine. You don't have to pay that balance. She left. Again, my phone's going ping, 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 ping. Go on Instagram. Someone's made fake multiple accounts, tagging my hair page, commenting under the post saying that this hairdresser refuses to do your hair. She does this, that, and the other. The next day, on Google again, 5 different accounts who've never been to the salon before, all left me 1-star reviews. They were like, this hairdresser does this hairdresser does that. So obviously I messaged the girl. I sent her like a really nice paragraph. I was like, I'm so sorry that you were disappointed about the appointment. Because I didn't think it was her. I was like, there's nobody that's going to go that far to do that. So I just sent her a message just to follow up and be like, okay, this is the reason why I couldn't do your hair. I sent her the pictures, which thankfully I had taken to obviously have it as like evidence. And I sent her the picture. I was like, this is why I couldn't do your hair. And then she then screenshotted that and then also went to take it to Google. She's like, this is what the hairdresser does. So it was a whole thing that I basically threatened to take her to court because I was like, this is slander. This is, what's it called? Yeah, everything. They're still there. Google didn't want to take the reviews down. And I was just like, I'll leave her to it.
No, I mean, like you both, like, what do you do in those situations? Because Google that's how people find us. Like, that's how people, like, if somebody types in barbershops in Newcastle, our barbershop is usually the first one at the top because I ask my clients, I say, if you like what you got today, it would help me out quite a bit if you could leave a review on our Google page, and it helped me out a lot. And I've not had a negative review on there yet because, a lot of my clients are also my friends. I mean, clients and friends is kind of interchangeable. What do you guys do when you see that? And how have you experienced it? How do you take that? What do you do?
I think what Nash has just done,
Yeah.
You get in touch with them and just say, like, what is the problem? Can I fix it? And I would say that as much as we, live now in our salon, like in Google and things, but, I prefer much going from word of mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way
It's
to
so
go
permanent,
for,
though, when it's on.
That's
the problem.
I was
That's,
willing
I guess,
to delete my Google because stuff like that, though, even in one of the other girls that happened, I think it's more maybe with women because with a lot of guys don't really care too much. Like, they'll speak to you and I'm like, you can always just message me, or if I feel like I didn't do a good job, I'll message you to follow up. But when you see the negative review, I think for 2 days I didn't eat.
Yeah.
There was a day
it cuts you. In
I
half,
literally
doesn't
went
it?
home straight after work. I didn't even turn the light on. I just walked in, climbed straight into bed. Because it's really depressing, especially when you try to give a good service and then they haven't approached you to even tell you, okay, this is what the problem
But
was.
I also think that's a problem with reviews. It might not even be from that person.
But that's
could
what I
be a
think. It was like
person.
literally people that had never been to the
exactly,
salon.
And that's what I don't really get with the whole review thing as well. I think that if you know somebody's been to that salon or barbers or whatever, right, and they've had a good experience, then you go.
Yeah.
You could a salon could have reviews going, oh, amazing, it's fantastic. You could go there and have a bad experience. So I mean,
Well, when I started in customer service, when I was like, when I really started to take it seriously was when I was like 15, 16 years old, because I got into the workforce quite young. I remember it takes what did my boss tell me at the time? He said, one negative review, that person will go and tell 10 different people. But you could have one positive experience and that person could probably not say anything.
Do you know what? That's so old school in a lot of respects, because that's what we used to say about, you would have a good haircut and a good experience and go and tell maybe 2 people about it, but have a bad experience and tell every single person.
Everyone.
And that's what's important. But we can only
Hot goss.
Yeah, we can only do what we can do.
Because it's people's business. It makes you more mindful.
But I think that's the part, like I, as of recently, have experienced a lot of cancellations and rearranges and stuff like that. And people, I respect that people have their own things and they've got a lot going on. Like I do as well. Like I understand if somebody can't come in because of whatever, this, that, or the reason. I've heard everything under the sun. I get that. But I think the hardest part for a lot of people that aren't in this industry is this is our livelihood, and if you don't come in, you don't come in, I don't make money.
Exactly.
So if you don't come in for that hour, that's an hour of my time that's not been paid for.
What do you think? What do you think about taking like a deposit?
See, I take deposits because of that, and I think people then respect it more though. Because I've had clients tell me that that's actually really professional. Because then it's showing that one. Because I've got a salon, I've got bills to pay.
Yeah.
So I value your time as much as you value mine.
Yeah.
So if you pay a deposit, that's my security. It's like, say if you're going to invest in something big, most companies be like, pay a deposit so we know we can trust you. And then if you don't turn up, at least I've made an extra 20
So
pounds.
I wonder if this comes down to a lot of the time, the fact that your I'm not saying that what I do is not as intricate, but I would say that your job
Can
and
take
your
more
job
time.
can take more time.
Yeah.
So it's understood that when people come to see you guys, those things are very intricate. It's very specific. They're coming to you for very specific reasons of things that they like. Whereas like anybody could come in to my shop and go, I would like skin fade. And I'd be like, got you. I can do that. That's no problem. Right. But also I've had plenty of people come to the shop and be like, hey, can you get me in right now? I said, no, I can't get you in right now, but I can get you in a couple hours, or I can get you in tomorrow. Here's my business card. This is how you book in. There's my Instagram. Go ahead and book in. And if you have any questions, give us a shout. I'll sort you out. So I think in regards to what you were saying, like, I don't know. I think I would take it. I haven't gotten one yet, but I'm really worried for that one day when that happens.
But I think also though with clients, like, do you know when you put down money, you're more inclined to actually go like follow up with the appointment. So
Yeah,
like that, I've
definitely.
had clients say that they're like, oh, but I've paid the deposit now, so I'm gonna turn up. Whereas usually some people that don't pay a deposit, they don't feel the need to turn up because they haven't lost anything.
No, yeah.
Getting back, obviously, to nightmares of hair. I mean, I know you've only been hairdressing like 2 years or barbering 2 years. And you know, I mean, when I first started hairdressing, like people would come in every 3 weeks, get the hair washed and blow dried. And like their hair, I mean, they hadn't washed the hair for 3 weeks, you know, and then water. Only I used to be assistant then. And I'd be washing the hair, and this is where the whole 2 shampoo thing came from, because the hair would be that dirty. You would need
have to
2,
strip
3
it,
of all, you know, and the water would be brown, and the smell.
Oh
The
my
smell.
God.
Yeah,
I think 3 weeks is bad. I had a client 6 months. They didn't wash, and I had to use gloves. And I was like, they came in, they're like, I want you to wash my hair. And I was like, who's washing your hair?
like grease, isn't it? You know?
No, it's not nice. I'm like, just be mindful as well, where people as well, our noses matter.
I
our
think
health
it's
matters.
misinformation as well. I think a lot of, like, I get a lot of, like, most of the clients I have are men. A lot of the clients that come in, they don't know, like I say, it's all the time. A lot of them don't know that they can use conditioner. A lot of people say, oh, I only thought that women use conditioner. Oh, I only thought that people with long hair use conditioner.
Shampoo, just wash,
Yeah,
even just
it's
rinsing.
shampoo, but I mean,
Even
like,
just washing it.
Yeah,
Like, just rinse it.
yeah,
If you
just-
might not have to condition, but please wash your
We're
hair.
talking about washing.
Yeah, just wash
just
your
in general,
hair.
but just taking care, like general hair health, basically. Yeah, I mean, I think when we were talking about what we were talking about before, I didn't mean to like also mitigate the fact that what I do as a barber is any lesser than what you guys do, or other barbers listening is
It's
any
your
lesser
time.
than what you guys do.
No,
I
it's
think
just
it's just
your
Your time,
time.
is
It's very-
important. Yeah,
it's
your
time is-
time. Even if it's a 10-minute slot, your time is valuable.
we don't take deposits at our shop. I personally agree with the fact that we don't, because I mean, who knows? My opinion could change in 5 years' time. But as it stands right now, while I'm building a client base, I would the client who's new to the shop, who's just booking in for the first time, and I'm the only one that's available. You know, when you think about like the amount of times that you've gone, oh, I really want to buy this thing. I want to buy this thing. I'm gonna buy this thing now. Okay, cool. Oh shit, it doesn't have Apple Pay. Oh, I gotta go grab my card, and then I gotta find, where's my wallet? Where did I put my wallet? Do you know what I mean? There's all these different, and I get a lot of students, and a lot of students don't have a lot of time to think and go, right, shit, where's everything? You know, they've got a lot going on. So I think for me, it's just where I'm at right now. I don't take deposits because of that, because I don't want to scare there's an element for me that worries that it's going to take them out of the personality, the personal aspect of it. Do you know what I mean?
Tell you, I can testify that since I started taking deposits, like my bookings skyrocketed.
Really?
So like every single client that now comes to me, the first thing that they say, they're like, I respect the fact you take deposits. Because like I said again, but I don't know, maybe it's just in our industry, but a lot of hairdressers that I saw, that they were taking deposits. And when I wasn't taking deposits, I'd get a lot of no-shows, a lot of cancellations. And then it makes it more, I don't know, like you're more like exclusive, I guess, like when people want to book in with you. So like I know that every week I'm like, okay, I've got all of these people booked in, but even if they don't turn up and I've got 5 people booked, I've still made money that week.
So everybody, what is making the cut this week? So what's happened this week? What are you amazed by? What are you passionate about? What's happened to you yourself, or what have you seen?
What are we looking forward to? All that jazz.
Like you said last week, you were getting back into content. I've started getting back into content again.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, because for a while, I think for the last 3-4 months, I'd kind of just I just could not be bothered.
We should make a duet video. That's what we should
We
do.
can do a dancing
oh
one.
my gosh,
We'll do a
that'd be so
dancing
much.
one.
You
No,
show me.
hang on a minute. Why are you missing me out?
You live all the way. You live all the way in Teesside, man. You're gonna come all the way up here to
Why
dance
did
with
you?
us.
I come up here all the time.
Yeah, we'll
No,
go
why
to him.
didn't
When
you
you get
come?
your
I don't-
mohawk and your colour, we'll go and we'll do
That's
a whole
so
little...
long from now. We're not thinking about that yet.
But yeah, I've
all right.
been enjoying... One of my friends, actually, I need to give her props. Like, when it comes to content, she hit 3 million views on one video, like, overnight on TikTok. Because for the last year, she's been consistent. Esther, I know she's going to be listening to this. This girl's incredible. Like,
Hello, Esther.
Yeah, hi, Esther.
So yeah, if you want
Wow.
content tips, go to Esther, because on TikTok, she's blowing up. On Instagram, hundreds and thousands of views. And she went from, I think, 1K this time last year. She's nearing 20K because she's so consistent. So I was like, I need to get my shit
Is
together.
this just her going out there?
So
going
yeah,
forward,
every day
doing
she's
everything?
just posting videos. She's been doing a lot of pranks on her clients now, and that's the video that got 3 million views because she accidentally cut her client's hair, but it was a prank. So everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did that!" And it's just blowing up. So I've been seeing like the way she takes her content. She blacks me. She's like, "You need to do this. You need to do that." And I realized on social media, people want to see more of like your personality.
Yeah,
So even if
absolutely.
you post really good hair, I've realized I don't get a lot of views
I don't either.
from
yeah.
just hair. But when you then post yourself acting a fool, Instagram loves me being a clown. When I'm
Yeah.
a clown, that's when the views are going up.
That's what I thought
People
when I
wanna
posted that video
laugh
of
at.
me, but you know, it was my most liked video that I have,
Because
which is
people want to
great.
see you.
People want to see a white boy dance. You know what I mean? So, what am I looking forward to? It's Freshers this week and next week, and then basically till the end of the month. So I'm
Is
looking.
it? Okay.
So for me, I'm looking forward to basically meeting new people. The new sort of like, because we don't really have that where I came from, where it's like, oh, new people coming to the university and like I was never like, they're young kids, like who cares? But like here, it's like it's such a big thing in the UK, like starting university for this first time, and like a lot of these kids, they come here. Like I met a kid today, and he didn't know anybody coming up here. He didn't know. He just wanted to get as far as he could away from home, and he didn't know any of the people in his dorms. And he was just like,
Where's he from? Durham.
No, he's not from Durham. He's somewhere. Oh man, I can't remember where he's from. Somewhere down south. So he was just like, I want to get as far away from home as I can. And then that becomes a really great jumping off point to go right. Why did you come to this shop? How did you find this shop?
Yeah.
You know, why did you
That's
pick
cool.
me to cut your hair and things like that? And those things are interesting to me because it's like that also helps build my character and how I want to promote myself, like online, through TikTok or through Instagram and different things, because then I can lean on those things. It's like, what do people like about me? Why do people want to come see me? And how do I bend into that on my online presence and all those different things? So that's what I'm excited about this week, and the rest of the month is Freshers.
Right.
Dirty.
So my thing is I've just recently refitted the shop, so we've gone like a purple and gold theme. It's gorgeous, you know what I mean? And the outside of the shops are all getting done as well. So all the paving stones are all getting done, and there's a reboot the whole system as well. You know, so it's looking really good.
Looking
you know,
good.
so and I'm just talking about socials. I've just employed somebody that's kind of looking after that. You know, I mean, my personal socials, I'll do them, and I'm not as good. I need your friend. What's her name?
Esther.
Esther. I need Esther.
Yeah, I need Esther. I think we all need Esther.
We need Esther.
Yeah.
So that is this week. Join us next time for It's the Cut.
Hey guys, I don't know if you know about Shabba. It's the Scottish Hair and Beauty Awards. They'll be here this Sunday, the 1st of September at the Hilton in Glasgow. Marcus will be attending this year. So if you guys are going to be there, whoever's attending, come over to the table and say hi.
So that's all this week. Join us next time for It's the Cut. Subscribe and share our podcast. Each week we will be bringing you the view from the chair from
Me, Nash and Breandan.
Me, Brendan McGee.
and me, Marcus King.
It's the Cut was brought to you by
The King and I Salon in Norton, Stockton-on-Tees. You can find us on Instagram at The King and I Norton Limited.
by the Canadian Clipper Kid at Bones Club Barbershop in Newcastle upon Tyne. You can find me on Instagram at the Canadian Clipper Kid. My link is in the bio, or you can find us at our website, bonesclub.co.uk.
And by Ace Braids, also located in Newcastle. You can find us on Instagram at ace_braids, or you can find us online at aceofbraids.co.uk.
Niltoni Broadcast Network. NBN. Popcorn for your ears.